Evolution of Internet Governance, Empowering Sustainable Development. This theme is very timely as the United Nations General Assembly adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in September, and it will be reviewing the implementation of the WSIS outcomes in December 2015 during the 70th session. Inspired by recent experience and lessons learned, discussions during the 10th IGF meeting in Brazil will address issues under the following sub-themes: cybersecurity and trust, internet economy, inclusiveness and diversity, openness, enhancing multi-stakeholder cooperation, internet and human rights, critical internet resources, and emerging issues. The IGF aims to enhance linkages among discussions, recommendations, and policy options coming from various national and regional IGF sessions and the rest of the internet ecosystem. I therefore entreat all relevant internet governance organizations to take forward key ideas raised during today's discussions to the 10th IGF. In our discussions today, we should be guided by the Declaration of Principles of the World Summit on the Information Society, where heads of state and government declared our common desire and commitment to build a people-centered, inclusive, and development-oriented information society where everyone can create, access, utilize, and share information and knowledge, enabling individuals, communities, and peoples to achieve their full potential in promoting their sustainable development and improving the quality of life, premised on the purposes and principles of the Charter of the United Nations and respecting fully and upholding the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The WSIS principles enjoins us to ensure that everyone can benefit from the opportunities that ICTs can offer. To undertake this challenge, all stakeholders should work together to improve access to ICT infrastructure and technologies, as well as to information and knowledge, to build capacity, to increase confidence and security in the use of ICTs, to create an enabling environment at all levels, to develop and widen ICT applications, to foster and respect cultural diversity, to recognize the role of the media, to address the ethical dimensions of the information society, and also to encourage international and regional cooperation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the building of a people-centered information society is a joint effort that requires cooperation and partnership among all stakeholders. Governments, as well as private sector, civil society, and other international organizations have important roles and responsibilities in decision making. Ghana has religiously pursued the multi-stakeholder consultation in the development of policies, laws, and regulations to promote the development of the information society in the country. The model has been soundly acknowledged, and it is not surprising that experts from the country have been used as resource persons in global discussions of the internet. You should not therefore be surprised when you arrive in Brazil and find eminent Ghanaian internet professionals facilitating panel discussions. In the area of ICT development, Ghana has made very significant strides. Over 30 million mobile subscriptions by the 6 telecom companies have been achieved. Over 59% mobile data penetration has been accomplished. We have 5 submarine cable network operators providing a capacity of over 12 terabyte capacity. We have a vibrant developer community developing different applications on mobile and other platforms. We have a private sector and government fiber cable rollouts to improve connectivity in country. The National Data Center, built by government to promote the development of local content and to speed up Ghana's transformation process, is just next door. A new automated .gh registry will soon be commissioned to make the .gh domain name widely available. With an ever-increasing complex environment, there is a need to continuously engage with different stakeholders and get them talking to each other and sharing experience for the enhanced development of the internet in Ghana. The Internet Governance Forums intrinsically serve to do just that. It provides opportunity to meet and share experience and collaborate when possible to promote a sustainable internet development. I commend the Internet Society, NITA, the NCA, and indeed all the supporters of this function for making this engagement realizable. And I hope it will continue to give us the best practice solutions to address challenges of the industry. Let me also hasten to add that a key stakeholder in all our deliberations should be the consumer of ICT services. The information society cannot be realized until we get the satisfaction of the citizenry. We should therefore take into consideration the need for safe, secure, and affordable internet that responds to our cultural needs and opens up business opportunities for our youth. Government is particularly interested in cybersecurity and child online protection issues. And in this regard, the ministry has set up the National Computer Emergency Response Team, SET-GH, to monitor our cyber environment and secure some aspects of our cyberspace. This can be done effectively through public-private cooperation. I am told the SET-GH has constituencies from the private sector with which it shares information. I would like to encourage more information sharing on cybercrime to help the country get rid of the cyber criminals. Recently, the ministry organized a validation workshop on the National Cybersecurity Policy and Strategy, and it will soon be presented to Parliament after Cabinet consideration. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Ghana IGF provides such a platform to evaluate our progress made as a country and share our experience with other countries. I do hope you will have very fruitful discussion on the issues and come out with resolutions which the ministry will be happy to work with stakeholders to improve our governance of the internet. On this note, I formally declare the 2015 Ghana IGF formally open. Thank you.
Here is to set the agenda and identify the key issues in Ghana on the internet governance subject. So that's what it is. Let me do some brief comments, then I'll ask each of the four of them to take some 5 minutes or so and share what they're doing. I think the first important observation is that the Internet Governance Forum has a structure. And the structure is that it's a non-binding forum. Okay? It's non-binding, meaning that all the stakeholders come together almost like they do at an exchange point. They come together and they exchange knowledge, experience, information, whatever, on all the subjects of importance. In other words, it's not a decision-making body, so that private sector does not have to feel that they have to subject themselves to UN deciding things that can impact their business as an example. So it's supposed to be an environment in which everyone comes, policymakers come with their policy agenda, businessmen come with their business plans, civil society comes with their clear objectives that they want to see protected, and so on. And they all exchange. Now, when the technical folks leave, they will go into their IETF, RIRs, that's regional internet registries, and apply that discoveries they've made at the meeting to improve their portion. So it's not supposed to be binding. The second thing is that in the very beginning, the Internet Governance Forum along this way was judged by some as just a talk shop. Some took that view. Others challenged it, that we're not supposed to be binding, so no decisions. But others felt that some of the issues being discussed require more continuous work. Now, just to illustrate that you must make the decision, for some situations, people will err towards higher security. And for other situations, they will also want to err towards privacy. Now, maybe there's no trade-off between privacy and security and safety, perhaps not so. Nonetheless, there are some situations where you are willing to sacrifice a little bit of privacy for the safety and security of your society. And then there are some other times that you really don't want to give in any bit of your privacy. But the question is, where do you want it? And it has to be internalized and it has to be done at the local level. Now, that's just one example. I can take another one from the critical internet resources and make the same argument. Okay? Some will tell you that, no, if it's critical, then governments must decide. Others will tell you that the government doesn't have any idea the intricacies of the work. And there are different groups already doing it. IP numbers, which is critical, are already being, managed by regional internet registries. So why would you want to go and redo it? It doesn't seem to make sense because it cannot show that what they are doing is not working. After all, the internet is thriving, and so on. And it keeps on going like that. Okay. So the question is, for you, where is the balance? Anyway, to help us work through this, we have 4 panelists, and I'd like to start with the first one, which is to give us some sense, perhaps from the youth side and from the various dangers and risks. So, if you could just give your.
I intend to talk about has basically to do with what we should be considering as a country in ensuring that children are safe within the cyberspace. And you agree with me that safety within the cyberspace is not the responsibility of just one person. It's a responsibility of everybody who has something to do with it. It is the responsibility of government to guarantee that kind of safety for children, all right. But we need to play a role as private entities in ensuring that. So in looking at that, I took 14 points. I will just highlight them, and in the course of the discussion, we will throw more light on them when the need arises. So the first one we're looking at is support for parents and voluntary organizations. The issue is most parents are not informed about what goes on within the cyberspace. So it's necessary we create that opportunity for them. I know Kofi Annan Center does something for parents, but the coverage for me is somehow limited. More parents need to be brought on board for them to have that awareness created. And then research into child abuse images and grooming. Ghana, unfortunately, doesn't have a country-specific research telling us the scope of the danger that children encounter within the cyberspace. So it's necessary we have something done around that to ensure that we're giving the children what they need and we're giving actions that will really protect them within the space. And online safety education. We have ICT in schools, but when I reviewed the curriculum for the schools, it talks about the computer parts and few other things. Very little is talked about for safety within the ecosystem. And again, we're trying to see how best our existing curriculum could be tailored to suit the needs of the growing threats that children may encounter within the space. Policy priorities. And again, we're trying to see our ICT for AD policy doesn't have anything on child online protection. This we have spoken about for a while. And I hope from this IGF we will take action to ensure that maybe a review is done to that. But fortunately for us, we realize the cybersecurity policy and strategy has a dedicated pillar on child online protection, which is good enough. But it's not enough to have it just in one document. It will be necessary we have it across all documents because child online protection issues are mainstream everywhere. Public accountability. Here I will commend Google and Microsoft. They have actually done some things in 2013 to ensure that people who are kind of sleeping on children are tracked and all of that. So if such opportunities should present themselves, we as citizens should ensure that we chip in the issue for child safety. It is necessary. I want to say that the data protection and access to age-restricted goods and services, I'm of the view that the Data Protection Commissioner's Office can actually do a lot of work around this, do a bit of research to ensure that they have advice based on the current trends to inform whatever goes on and what data to let out, and even in the e-commerce system. Addressing future challenges of the mobile internet. There's the need for Ghana's Wi-Fi providers to restrict access to child abuse images to ensure that children are safe. You may allow that for adults, but then again, for us children, it's necessary we have that Wi-Fi friendly system in place so that we know what is good for us and what is not good for us. Advertising to children. Some of the websites that actually advertise to children does not really have the children in mind. I've been to certain sites, the kind of things I saw, it's so disheartening. So with time, maybe we need to be ensuring that websites that are targeted at children are meant to be addressing the needs of children. Family safety software, for those of us who could afford those,